What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a player rating show here on Back of the Net. All a bit frustrated, aren't we? It's a difficult one. It stings at the moment, that's for sure. 1-1 draw with Preston. And yeah, it depends how we look at it. I think in the game itself, we know we should have won that game. But looking back, Bristol City, Watford, Preston, 7 points. It's not too bad, but right now, I appreciate it's very, very frustrating. Should have had the game wrapped up before they equalised, but what can you do? We'll go into some ratings and got a guest on with me. Rob today. Rob, 2 points drop. That's how it feels, doesn't it, mate?
Yeah. There's no other bones about that. Definitely dropped it.
So frustrating, mate. Cause we looked like we had it in the bag, and we spoke off air, and it just they never looked like they were going to get in, and then an individual error that we'll come on to. So frustrating. But in terms of the keeper, Asmir Begovic, I mean, he didn't have anything to do. He couldn't do anything about the goal. But I honestly can't remember him doing anything other than having to pick the ball out of his net, which wasn't his fault. Do you agree? Yeah,
absolutely nothing. No, maybe a couple of catches at a push, but even then it was limited, right?
Well, should we go? Should we go standard 6?
Yeah, we can't really give him a rating.
No.
He was basically watching it, wasn't he? So
we'll go standard 6, but it's pretty much not applicable, to be fair, for Asmir, but makes it even more frustrating. But kept that back 4, which was good to see. Seems to be getting some consistency in there. We'll start on the right with Smithy, who, he done okay. He always does his job well. Went down a few times, looked like he might have to come off, but was fine. Frustrated me a little bit when he got on the ball. What did you think of Smithy?
Yeah, I think that's been a regular complaint in regards to him this season. He seems to stop the play quite a lot this time. I don't know if he doesn't have confidence in who's in the box or his own ability anymore, but the first thing is to look to stop it and then go inside. So
yeah, it seems to be like that at the moment, and it confuses me because Stanislas is obviously playing on that right side at the moment. He likes to come inside, and you think that would give Smithy the licence to kind of go, but whether it's something from the manager. I mean, I think Kelly's been doing all right on the other side, but Smithy, it seems like as soon as he receives the ball, he looks for the safe thing, and we know he can do more than that. But from a defensive point of view, they've all looked pretty solid, but would like him to give a little bit more when he gets the ball. But what do you think in terms of a rating, Rob?
I think probably a 6 or 7's fair. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just a bit slow in the build-up, but defensively he was sound. Yeah,
probably 6 is fair, I'd say. 6 or 7, like you say, just fairly average from Smithy. We know he can give more, but he never really lets us down. Like you say, he didn't really make any mistakes. It was just one of them. And one that's really impressing at the moment is Cameron Carter-Vickers, and I'm sure a certain Jason Tyndall will be thinking, God, I wish he was fit when I was there, because he's looking top draw at the moment, and I'm almost wanting him to calm it down a little bit because I want to make sure we can sign him. But now he's fit, he's been brilliant, and him and Cookie have developed a real partnership, and he's pretty flawless, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to him, and it's like even for a bigger bloke, he's got a decent enough turn of pace. He's not the quickest, but he's got enough to recover. I've not seen him look flustered. I don't think I've seen him make a mistake either yet. But going back to it, obviously he's imperative to sign, but I think we'll get him anyway, because the amount of loans he's had, the amount of times he's been bounced around, maybe logically it'd be where he's been set up for the last year might be the most sensible.
Yeah, and it might
decision.
Be a similar thing to Ake, funnily enough, when we first got Ake, it'd been like out on loan everywhere, and all you need is like one club to say, no, we want you, desperately want you.
Sure.
And him feel kind of loved or whatever and think he's going to play football. And fact is, when he's been fit, he's been given the minutes, hasn't he? So, hopefully, I certainly don't think he's one that it's, we have to get promoted to get him. He could be someone that's stuck around anyway, like you say. But, I think so. I love him because we're used to having, particularly with Eddie, with players that can play from the back, which is always nice. But he just strikes me as a proper defender. He defends first, and he just does the basics well. And don't get me wrong, he's still good on the ball, but he likes defending. He seems like that sort of player.
Yeah, he actually reminds me of Elphick.
Yeah, it's not bad shot,
but with a bit more technical ability.
Yeah, he seems like a real organiser at the back as well, which is
for sure,
good to see. But yeah, I mean, obviously we could see the silly goal, but it wasn't down to him. So on the whole, he was pretty flawless. Like I say, what are you going to give him for a rating?
I'd say an 8. I think he pretty much cleared up everything that came near him. Again, kept a very decent striker, and Ched Evans very quiet throughout the game. So
yeah, because he was someone who was harrying around all game, working his socks off. But yeah, like you say, he didn't do anything wrong, done his job expertly, so deserves a good rating. And Cookie would have been the same if it weren't for that moment. I really feel for him, but we've got to judge him on this game. We all know that we love Cookie, and he's probably, other than Begovic, he'd probably be our player of the season, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I really feel for him, because look at the big picture, and if the lads up the top end of the pitch had done their job, we could have been 2-3-0 up, and that error wouldn't have actually mattered. But the fact is, he knows his role. He's got to just clear his lines there. I don't know what he was thinking, Rob. Really don't.
Well, it just goes down to basics, doesn't it? Just, if in doubt, kick it out. Just it was a silly ball to try and play. It looked like, from the angle, it looked like there was a couple more on. And yeah, it's not glamorous, but sometimes you just need to punt it, don't you?
I think sometimes as well, recently, especially since we've gone to that 4, Cookie, we all know he's obviously brought him, and played with Eddie, he likes to play from the back. But I think of late, especially when Woody's come in, he has been clearing his, he's been doing, he's been thinking defend first, if in doubt, all that. So I really don't know what his thinking was there. He obviously saw the picture in front of him very differently, and he's been punished at the end of the day for a good finish. But it's horrible when it's Cookie, because we all love him, but he has cost us today with that, and he'll know that. And to be fair, out of everyone who want to make a mistake, you almost think at least it won't get to him. Do you know what I mean? But you've got the horrible job of having to rate him on that. So what are you giving him?
It's really awkward, because apart from that, I thought he was flawless as well. Him and Cam were just solid. Everything that came their way, got rid of it, dealt with it, did the right thing. But so maybe I'm just going to go for a 7, actually, because he was still, apart from that, he was still really good. Yeah, everything about him was a really solid display. It's just such a glaring howler. But
it's horrible, isn't it? Because if that player had ran through and smashed it straight at Begovic, we'd just be saying exactly the same as, we would have said, he nearly gave the ball away then. But we wouldn't have, unfortunately, he's been punished. And, I was saying it to someone on a WhatsApp group. I was saying, but the amount, he's made one mistake in a football match and it's cost us. How many mistakes in the final third did we make? That final pass, that final shot? For sure. Countless. But unfortunately, that's what happens when you're a centre-half, and Cookie will know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Left back, and I've been really critical of Lloyd Kelly this season, but I'll tell you what, last couple of games, he seems to have, it's almost like he's been told you're going to be a left back for the rest of the season, go and do the job. And I thought he was very good again, Lloyd Kelly, credit to him. Yeah,
I think he was, I'd argue, definitely in the first half, he was probably the player of the half in the first half. Really, really unlucky not to score. It was a cracking save.
That was.
But yeah, the way he was playing was kind of like classic Daniels as well. He was constant, full of energy. He was winning back tackles. He had the pace to go up and down constantly. So yeah, definitely first half he was player of the match for me.
It almost makes me feel a little bit like I was overly critical, because he's been really inconsistent. But I'm looking at it now and thinking it can't have helped him playing centre half in a 4, then left back, then centre half in a back 3. So he's been moved around all the time, and now he's suddenly got a consistent role. We're seeing them levels that we saw when he was consistently a centre half, kind of first lockdown, if you like. But now we're seeing a consistent run with him. We're seeing consistent performances. So I'm really pleased for him. And now I'm not. How many weeks we've been saying, who do we play at bloody left back? You and I have both been people on Twitter that have kind of been saying about giving Jordan Zamora a chance, because it's been so bad there.
For sure.
But credit to him, he's bounced back and he's looking good. So I think he's one for a solid rating. What are you going to go for?
I'll go for a 9, actually. I think first half he was outstanding. Second half dropped off a bit, but didn't do anything too wrong, and he can't really be blamed for anything that went sideways. So
yeah, he's probably. That rating probably says it. He's probably trying to think off the top of my head, but he probably would get my man of the match, actually, because just thought he done his job really well, both offensively, like you said, he nearly scored, and defensively. And we've always got to remember, Arnie's not someone who really helps the fullback that much defensively. So you've almost he's got a bit of extra work to do, and I thought he was spot on, wasn't he? So yeah, I agree with that. Kind of in front of them in the midfield, Jefferson, LERMA. I love Jeff. He's gone off it a little bit, but of late, I think he's bounced back. I thought he was really good today. He normally wins his duel, doesn't he? You know, whoever he's against, he normally puts shift in. And I thought he'd done his job pretty much bang on today without being superb. He was another one who had a decent chance as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, another good stay from the keeper. I thought, I think I alluded to it earlier on Twitter. I think the midfield three were really good in the first half. They controlled everything. All three of them complement each other quite well, I think. So going forward, if those three are our main three, I think that's a lot of positives. But yeah, I think Jeff was unlucky with the shot. It seemed like they were trying to target him again, trying to rattle him. Like you said, he came up. He didn't. You can see that he's too good for this division when he's on his game. Another really good display. Like you said, he's been off the boil recently, but he's kind of stepping back up a bit.
Yeah, I think he just loses class up because I think sometimes he goes about his job so well that you think, well, really, that's like he's almost like 9 out of 10 because he's just but because we're almost expecting it because he's that reliable. And like you're saying, what's nice is remember people used to like rattle Arter for example, but with Lerma, I don't care because I know he's got it up here. Do you know what I mean? We saw it against Watford, didn't we? He's class at shithousery. He's absolutely bang on. You never feel like he's going to overstep the mark and do something really stupid.
And the thing is, I don't think in the time he's been here, I don't think I've seen him actually rattled.
No, I agree. He's very clever, and even when the kind of brawl was going off against Watford, he was just stood there. He was the one that was getting least involved.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, he's very, very clever, and he's someone that we definitely need promotion to keep hold of. Because like you say, he's in this division, he's one of the best central midfielders in the league, in my opinion. And I like the way that he protects next to Pearson, but then also he was in that position to nearly score. He still gets up the pitch. He's got an engine. I think he does everything really well. It's going to be a top end, Mark. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'll say an 8.
Yeah, I think that's fair, mate. Bang on, to be fair. Jefferson Lerma, always reliable. Next to him, to be fair, someone that's been reliable ever since we got him in. And I mean, there was a spell when he wasn't playing and it was confusing me. But now he's back against his old club. And I just think he does that job so well. And him and Lerma are that's such a good platform to build off, isn't it? Them two in the middle. I love it. I think Pearson's sitting as well allows Cookie a little bit more freedom. Yeah, definitely. And although Cookie was very good holding, I do like him a bit more offensively because he's got that little bit of creativity. He can turn, he can take a man as well. So maybe pushing forward, we might see a bit more out of Cookie go with Pearson. Yeah. But I thought it was interesting with the commentary team actually saying they were almost slating Pearson, and every time I watched him, he was so calm. He was just saw the ball, saw what he needed to do, got rid of it, did what he needed to. Couple of silly fouls, but that's where he plays. Yeah. No, I thought he was really good. I think I was speaking to a Preston fan on Twitter because I agree the commentary team seemed a little bit bitter, didn't they? But I was speaking to a Preston fan and he was saying that he was class, as we know he does. He was brilliant because he didn't really put, like you say, he didn't a few fouls, but I expect him to do that and almost want him to do that. He just goes about it so well, and I think he's one of them players that will always go kind of under the radar a little bit. But they all complement each other really well in that midfield. So I think he was bang on the money, mate. To be honest,
I think he was really disciplined as well, considering like a big occasion for him. Obviously, it would have been hyped up. Yeah, his comments in January as well. I thought he was. And considering his tendency for a foul and a booking, I thought he was really well disciplined, actually.
That's what's mad, is that he's come with that reputation and you can see it, but I don't think he's got booked that much since he's played for us, and I never really felt like he was going to get booked. No. And then I saw an unbelievable stat the other day I posted on my Twitter with Lerma, who's obviously similar. He hasn't been booked since Tyndall was in the league. He hasn't been booked since that Millwall game. It was ages ago. So they have this reputation, but the difference is to like say a Harry Arter that I alluded to earlier, is they've got it up here a little bit more. So they'll make silly little fouls, but they don't go overstep the mark and you think they're a walking red card. I really like the pair of them, and I like what Pearson's bringing us, to be honest with you. So another high rating for Pearson?
Yeah, I'll say an 8 again, I think.
Yeah, I think, like you say, apart from an individual error, from a defensive point of view, we were pretty solid. They never got in behind. We were good in the midfield, etc., etc. So I think the ratings are fair, and like you say, a little bit more advanced. Lewis Cook, and like you say, he was doing really well in that deeper role, but. It's better to try and see a bit of creativity with Lewis and get him higher up the pitch. Like you say, he's good to beat a man. Hope his injury's not too bad, because that looked a bit of a nasty one, but hopefully he'll bounce back. But yeah, I like Lewis. Yeah, I feel for him, because I think sometimes with the way we're playing, you think, oh, could we do with a Billing or a Jack Wilshere, someone a little bit more creative in there in that kind of advanced role? But he doesn't let you down, Lewis Cook, does he? No,
and you've got the option. I think he's deceptively quick as well. Like we've seen him kind of play wider of the three, almost in as a right midfielder / winger kind of role. Had a couple of efforts as well. One obviously straight into the defender and looped over, and you could see on the second one, the second half, where he was frustrated with the bobbles as he was trying to, because it wouldn't set for him at all. And you could see his reaction afterwards that he was annoyed. He knew that was a very, very good opportunity.
Yeah, no, I like Lewis at the moment. I think it's more of I'm happy to go with that three. And then if you kind of need to create something, or you desperately need something, then, you can either move Lewis back and take one of the ones behind him off, as we know he can do that, or take Lewis off, and you've got options. But at the moment, I think them three are complementing each other and making us that harder to beat, which I quite like. But not sure if he was quite as good as the other two, but what do you think? Do you think he was up there on par with them two?
Yeah, I'd agree. Maybe just a little bit quieter. But out of the three, he was also looking to make stuff happen a bit more. I think he was a bit faster in his play.
Yeah, true.
But
give me a rating.
I'll go 7 actually. He was a little bit quieter, but
yeah, I'd agree with that. But like you say, he is being asked to do a slightly different role to the other two anyway. Off the kind of right hand side, Junior Stanislas, and I feel for the guy actually, because he's so much better on the left, but he's having to go over to that right hand side because of the players that we've got available and the players we've got out. He's always a player that you think can provide something out of nothing. You see that with his goal and assist record this season, but he was quiet today. He comes hot and cold, and he had a cold one today, didn't he?
I think quiet's generous. I don't actually remember him making a pass to someone in red and black, and for him to stay on the pitch up until the 85th minute was pretty poor.
I think if we had more options, or if Brooksy was available, because it just doesn't seem like, I don't know why Riquelme's here, and he doesn't seem to want to chuck on a Jane Anthony, so that's kind of keeping him on the pitch at the moment. I think if Brooksy was available, for example, he'd have been off by the hour, surely. Yeah,
for sure, absolutely. And when you look at it going forward, they're not particularly inspiring subs on the bench, but he could have even gone, and I wouldn't have been against him been taken off for Stacey. I know he's a right back, but as a younger kid, he was a winger in his day. He's got the engine for it. But yeah, clearly doesn't fancy Riquelme, doesn't want to test the new kids, which is, his prerogative. It's his job to lose, really, in that. So why risk it?
Yeah.
But yeah, Stanislas was poor today. Really,
he was really off it, and it's funny you said that, because I think it was in the week on the free for all, I mentioned that. I said at the moment we're almost just playing Junior on the right because we need to keep Arnie on the left, and I kind of think, but if he's not doing it on the right, Jack Stacey's surely an option, and you can even go, even if you put, I don't care if you play Smithy ahead of Stacey or vice versa. I think they're both right backs that would probably say they're wing backs. They're very attacking fullbacks. Yeah. And I feel with Jack Stacey, when he bombs down that right, he's got a good final ball. I feel like he could put a decent ball in the box, and that's something that I mentioned, like I say, not long ago, because I just think that we've got two of the best right backs in the league, really, and I think there could be a way of playing them both sometimes. Because I think Junior, if he's not on the left or kind of in that advanced midfield role, number 10, he seems really ineffective. And like you say, Cookie's going to get criticism because he made that error, but really, how many times did Junior do anything of note?
Well, all his deliveries were were naff, weren't they? Like all his dead balls, awful. Beat the first man maybe twice. It was just really, really underwhelming.
Seems to be, I would say, consistently inconsistent, Junior Stanislas this season. He's either our best player or our worst player. But there's been occasions where he's played poor and then scored.
Yeah, so exactly.
The only thing with Junior is he backs it up with numbers, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course. It kind of can't really compare them because it's two different positions, but it was in a kind of our League Two days when we were just relying on Pittman for a bit of splash of magic. He'd be sulking around for 80 minutes and then come up with an absolute stunning goal. You're like, okay, cool, that's why he's still on the pitch.
Yeah.
But obviously, the effort might be there with Stanislas, but it's kind of, I don't know what's going on.
I think that says it all as well. Like you just said, Ben, he's someone that, if you keep on the pitch, he can suddenly do something, but we still took him off. That's how poor he was. Because normally, if he's having an average game, you just leave him. But it's that bad. We still decided we wanted to win the game, and we decided it was better to take him off the pitch. So, it's been a while since Junior's played a lot of games in a run because of his record. And I wonder if he looks a little bit leggy, a little bit fatigued maybe. I'm not sure. I might be being kind to him there. But he was certainly off it today. So probably one of the lower ratings, if not the lowest. What are you going for?
I'm actually going to be fairly brutal here and go for a 4, I think.
4. I was hovering by 5 and 4. So, I think if you look at it, you say 5's average. He was under average, to be fair, today. And Junior set that bar, hasn't he? We know how good he can be. So I think that's fair, mate. On the other side, another tricky one, really. Arnie, because he did get the goal. And there's probably going to be a lot of similarities in the sense that he can be frustrating, but then do a bit of magic. Because 95% of the time, I'm going, and then he just does something and I think, that's what a player. I felt at times, especially in that first half, him and Kelly were actually combining quite well and he was laying it off at right times. It was that second half. Does he sometimes think he's better than he is?
Oh, obviously. That's without doubt, I think. Best Dutch forward in playing, wasn't it? So, but no, again, go back to the first half and how good it was. I actually think Arnie was doing really well. He actually made good decisions. He was laying it off more often than not, more than taking it on and losing it. He was, like you said, he was linking up with Kelly really well. Took his goal well. Again, for really, really quiet second half, though. I don't know if it is a fitness thing with him, because again, he's had his injury problems and he can't. Obviously, he goes through spells of real pace and energy. So I don't know if he kind of used it up a bit too much in the first half, maybe. But
Varney does seem to kind of come in and out of the game, and you wonder if it's the players around him or something. But sometimes I think when their team try a bit of pressure on, that's where he should thrive on the counter attack. But like you say, maybe got a bit leggy in the second half. But I do still like Arnie, and I tell you what, if I listen to a lot of kind of preview shows with whoever the opposition are, and every time they talk about us going into a game, they always know he's the man. They always say we got to keep him quiet, and he does have that threat about him, and he is frustrating, but he's going to be a key player for us the rest of the season, definitely. And he still got the goal today, so
and 3 and 3.
Yeah, no, exactly. So what are you going for?
I'll go for a 7. He wasn't brilliant, but he wasn't awful, and did a lot more than Stanislas.
Yeah, no, exactly. And he still, like I say, got the goal. Leading the line, great to see him back. I wasn't sure if he would come out today just because he'd been out for so long, and then he's bounced back and started 2 games. But we do look a better team with Dom Solanke leading the line. There's no doubt about that. It's a shame he hasn't come back and got a goal yet. He links things so much better. He's a far better striker than any of the ones that we've got available. But it didn't quite happen for him today without him being poor. That's my assessment. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he had enough given to him or offered to him either. Because on the base of it, or what it looked like for me, he bullied that centre back, and it showed with the goal as well. Really clever play, outmuscled him, just turned him, and then a really good ball for Danjuma. But yeah, I think Solanke thrives when it's in and around the box, and he can just he doesn't have to think about it and he could just go on instinct. But we're not seeing enough of that, and we're not getting the balls in those positions for him to really kind of thrive. He's almost got to make stuff for himself.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Anything that happens through him is him making it himself. He has to go deep, get the ball, bully someone, nice bit of trickery, and get away, because we're not giving him enough. And I keep thinking sometimes I don't think we're getting people close enough to him. I think Junior or Arnie, they tend to be quite wide. I want to see him come in and get a little bit close to him, because he just doesn't seem to have enough. I do feel a lot of the time it's not down to him. I think he's putting a shift in. I don't think he's getting enough in and around him, because I still think if you give him it in the right areas, he will provide. And he did, like you say, he was a big part of the goal, a massive part of the goal, to be fair. So yeah, I don't think he was poor, but he wasn't outstanding. I think I know what you're going to go for.
I'll go for a 7. He wasn't, like I said, he was really, really good in the first half. He was throwing himself about a bit, but the second half, like everyone, foot kind of went off the pedal a bit.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, mate. It was Shane Long was on first, wasn't he? Yeah, but was Shane Long off? I can't remember which one come on first. I think he did come on first, didn't he?
Yeah, for Lewis.
Yeah, that's it, with the Lewis Cook injury, and obviously they had already scored then, so he obviously tried to get another man up front. He runs around a bit, doesn't he? But he didn't really get much to go off, and didn't really have a massive impact. But
I didn't even realise he was playing.
Yeah, he didn't really. I can't really remember him doing anything of note, to be fair. Is he someone that, I know he's out injured at the moment, Sam Surridge, but if Dom Solanke, say, were to get a knock, or we needed to get someone up alongside him in a game, do you go for Shane Long or Sam Surridge?
They're both kind of underwhelming choices, aren't they?
Yeah,
really?
I agree.
I think I'd probably be inclined to go for Long just for the experience.
Yeah,
he knows how to play against defenders, and he's been around for a while, and he's still got the legs as well, so he's still got enough about him. But when he's played, I haven't really been impressed with him, and I think he actually needs a second striker, almost kind of like the big man, little man thing. I don't think he's not suited to this system where we're playing a one man up front.
I probably think that with all our strikers, actually. I think we just alluded to it there, that I think Dom could do with someone closer to him. I don't see Shane Long as someone on his own. I think Sam Surridge is still kind of inexperienced and could do with being alongside someone. We saw against Barnsley, wasn't it, where he got man of the match. It was him and Dom.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's a bit of an issue, as we've got. I mean, I even think Arnie could play in a 2 up top. But don't have someone that, I mean, Dom can do it well, but I still think he would rather play in a 2. But yeah, I think, should we just go for a 5 for Shane Long? Because like you said, we don't really know who's on the pitch, did we?
Yeah, that's fine.
Probably not even worth getting into Jack Wilshere, because he was on for about 5 minutes, to be fair. Do you think that Woodgate at the moment doesn't seem to, I know he was suspended for the last game, but he doesn't seem to, I feel like if Billing was available today, he would have brought Billing on over Wilshere. I don't think he fancies him at the moment.
No, and I'll be honest, I can't see him getting a new deal either. I think it's, especially with Tyndall going, I think the vibe was that he wanted to be here to get his fitness up to prove himself again. But it's mad to say, but he kind of, I think he would be good in the 3, but the players are in form.
Yeah.
It's like almost unfair to drop one of them just because, but looking at it, obviously he's outstanding. But yeah, I'm just really confused, to be honest. I really don't think he'll be here in the summer when his deal runs out. I'd be very surprised if he gets a new one.
Yeah, I'd probably agree.
Not for anything he's done.
Yeah.
I think he wouldn't have seen himself in the Championship when he had the offer, or when his deal got cut down by West Ham. And if we don't go, he's not good. I can't imagine him wanting to stick around the Championship. I could actually see him doing something completely different, MLS or Europe, to be honest.
I've always thought that it might be good for someone like Jack Wilshere to kind of get out of it and go abroad and go and try and play football again. But yeah, I agree, because I think if we were to go up, I don't actually think we would offer him a new deal anyway. I think we would, then with the parachute payments, all that, we'd bounce straight back. We'll look to kind of improve. And I think we would almost, I'm not sure we would. And I think if we were to not go up, I don't think we'd pay him the wages. I don't even know if he would be that motivated, like you say. So, but I do think from now to the end of the season, I don't think he'll start too many games. But he's going to be vital. I mean, he's already got a few goals for us, and I think he will be crucial to having around the squad and coming on just to open a few doors and stuff like that. And we've got good competition in the middle areas, that's for sure.
Well, it's not even that. He's got a winner's mentality as well.
Yeah,
I think that's something that we have lacked recently, and people who want to win. I know that's what Preston said a lot about PEARSON. And you look at things, and this is going to be kind of really important going forward in the cup run as well. Jack's won the cup twice. He knows what it takes. Obviously, we're not the squad that he won it with, but he knows what it takes. People are going to look to him for that experience of, right, this is a massive cup game, Jack. What do we do? How do we react?
Yeah.
So I think his experience and his mentality is going to be crucial going forward. And especially because we've said it numerous times, like there does seem to be a kind of a very weak mentality in this team sometimes. And as we said earlier, as soon as Cookie's mistake happened and the goal was in, it just kind of, I couldn't see us getting back into it from then.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think Wilshire's got to play against Southampton. I think that's the perfect game for him to come in for. And like you said, I think it's pretty key that obviously Jason didn't know he was going to get sacked, and I think he the players he brought in said a lot. He brought in Shane Long and Jack Wilshere and Ben Pearson. They're all characters. They're all people with different experiences. But I think that was definitely something that he, we've all heard about it in that dressing room and stuff. I think he thought, I need some more, which I can understand at the time. Tyndall kind of letting your Sermons go, your Francis go, people like that, thinking, we need some new, young, hungry players. But I think when it got to the halfway stage and we're on a bit of a blip, I think he thought, I could do with a few more voices in there. And I think Jack was probably, and Shane Long, Ben Pearson was more for his quality, but I think Jack Wilshere and Shane Long in particular were brought in for that as much as anything else. Because Shane Long wasn't brought in for his goal scoring record, was he? You know what I mean? I think he was brought in for a bit of experience, a bit of something in the dressing room.
But also as a backup, because the only reason he came in was because King was going.
Of course.
But it's like on that topic, it's like what Frano said on his interview with you guys the other week. The 14-15 squad. They'd always go out for a beer afterwards. They'd always hang out. They'd socialise. There'd be a massive load group with them hanging out, doing things. Yeah. Whereas all the guys here, just as soon as the game's on, they're just straight on Instagram. You're like, how are you going to build up a team spirit when you're doing that as well?
That's a new culture, isn't it?
Yeah. Like everyone's about that. Obviously, like we all are. We're all guilty of it. But you're just saying if people are just kind of putting their highlights reels on Instagram straight away rather than chatting to their teammates, you can see why the atmosphere is going to be quiet and how and when they don't know how to pick each other up.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it's also in a time where for us, it's like you say, that is always going to happen a little bit. But for us, it's happening when we've just lost Simon Francis, Charlie Daniels, Andrew Sam. It's at a bad time because I feel like them sort of characters would have gone, oi, get off your phone. We're going to have a bit of a chat here. Let's all get together. Do you know what I mean? They're them sort of characters, and they would have built a bit more of a, that bonding kind of mentality in the group. So sometimes this season, I've definitely felt we've got away from that. I think credit to Woodgate. I think in the last few, Watford was a key example. We saw a bit of togetherness, and that's given me a bit of hope to hang on to because I think they are fighting for each other at times. But I also agree with what you said. When they equalised today, as much as we were by far the better team, as soon as they equalised, there was no way we were winning that game, in my opinion. And that's
no, not at all.
That's difficult. I do feel like we get knocked back and we think, oh, here we go again, and we just kind of go through the motions for the next 20 minutes, and that is frustrating. Before I let you go, would you make any changes for the big one next week against Barnsley? And quick prediction.
It's difficult because who do you bring in? Obviously, you look at Stanislas, go, does he need a break? Dropping such a bad performance today, does he need a break? 3 in a row? Maybe, but who'd you bring in? I'd almost probably be inclined to stick it. They've got a week to recover anyway, so I'd almost be inclined to. The team's unbeaten in three, so might as well just kind of leave it until it goes drastically wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not particularly confident. Barnsley are playing some great stuff at the moment. They're in some unbelievable form, but we seem to be grinding a little bit. So maybe a 1-1 draw, I think.
Yeah, that's a fair prediction. I got a lot of I remember I got a bit of stick because I really praised Barnsley when we beat them 4-0, which sounds mad, but I said they're a good young footballing team actually, and they shouldn't have lost that game 4-0. We were quite good on the day, and obviously
I remember.
Yeah, they've obviously.
I think everyone said that, and I think everyone came away going, like, yeah, we were really good, and we kind of deserved to win 4-0. But on the flip side, Barnsley really didn't look like they got battered 4-0. It was really strange.
It reminded me of us back in the day when I remember like first championship season, we got hit for 5 at Huddersfield and things like that. And I remember them kind of thinking, well, Bournemouth are quite a good team, but it was that little bit of naivety. I know that I'm pretty sure they're the youngest squad in the division, which says a lot. They've got a young upcoming manager and stuff as well. But I wonder if maybe it's me thinking positively, but I wonder if it might suit us because they're a footballing, attacking side. Yeah. A lot of teams try and make themselves difficult to break down. They might have a go. They're on form, and they might leave gaps for the likes of Arnie to catch them on the counter. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, obviously, they haven't played at Dean Court for a long time. So it's obviously a tight pitch. It's quite small, and yeah, if they do go high up and they go for it, we could well get them. But
I'm glad we're playing them, to be honest, mate. They're on form flying, but we need to get back in the playoffs. They're the ones that are stopping us. I'd rather us go, look, you've got your chance, you're head to head. We're not going to be thinking about other results as much. We just go out there and beat them. So, I think it's going to be a really good one. And like you said earlier, no midweek game, which is a rarity at the moment. So I think we probably will go unchanged, but hopefully bounce back, mate. At least we didn't lose. And cheers for joining me, Rob. Appreciate it, mate.
No worries, man. Enjoyed it.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, thanks to Rob there. And yeah, let me know what you think on the ratings and man of the match. I think we probably said that. I think Lloyd Kelly was probably our pick and certainly improving of late, that's for sure. But yeah, let me know if you change anything for Barnsley and what your prediction is for that. It could be a really big game next week. But yeah, no midweek game, which is going to be very rare. But interview coming with Steve Robinson. Make sure you check that out. Top guy, talks about his time here in the 90s and also, his managerial record recently at Motherwell. So make sure you check that out. Keep supporting the channel. Really, really appreciate it. Subscribe, like, do all that nonsense. And I'll see you next time. Keep smiling. Up cherries.